Hello, Taras here. Welcome to another episode of our running series, What is an Invert? A series where we're chopping up all the different critters that have shells and are worms and all the different types of inverts that you can get at the aquarium store, cutting them up into little digestible little chunks. So today is another episode of our series within a series, What is a Crayfish? So this is Cambarellus patsquarensis. This is the Mexican dwarf crayfish. Most crayfish live relatively moderate in size, with a few exceptions in the southern hemisphere getting really, really big, like the marins in Australia, and some are really, really small, like the Mexican dwarf crayfish. This crayfish evolved in the high mountains of southwestern Mexico in Lake Pátzcuaro, where they get their name, and they're also associated with very pristine springs and mountain brooks and streams. So for that reason, they're adapted to only cap out at about 2 inches total in size, which makes them a very unique opportunity for the aquarium industry and everyone who's ever desired to have a crayfish but doesn't want to run the risk of having their fish be consumed by a red claw or one of the larger species. For that reason, the Mexican dwarf crayfish is a wonderful option. In the wild, they do not all look like this. The orange variant is a very, very, very rare color variant that occurred in the wild that was then taken and bred. Because in the wild, because of their pristine habitat requirements and because springs and the lake itself has been highly urbanized and industrialized, they are now critically endangered. So all of the specimens that you acquire today at the fish store are aquacultured sustainably and selectively bred for that iconic orange color. So a couple perks that they have above other crayfish species: they're largely non-aggressive. As you can see, we have a very big concentration of them and we don't have many deads, and not many of these chums only have one of their claws. Multiple individuals can be kept in an aquarium if it's of an appropriate size. I would say you can have one for every 5 to 10 to 15 gallons. Something that really helps with these critters is you can see that a couple of the dwarf crayfish are all across our sponge filters here. And that's because, like all crayfish, they are really adept at eating all of the biofilm and bacteria complexes and all the worms and small stuff that build up in the gooky parts of your tank. In conclusion, the Mexican dwarf crayfish, wonderful, small alternative for someone who wants a crayfish, wants a mini lobster in their tank, but doesn't necessarily want a bigger species that can hurt their fish. Feel free to like, subscribe, visit us at www.osachoice.com, and feed the algorithm like you would of your spunky little Mexican crayfish.